Atletico Madrid hope Chelsea buy Joao Felix in the summer. Joao Felix is yet to hit the ground running for Chelsea after getting sent off in his first game against Fulham, but Atletico Madrid are hoping he does when he comes back into the team. Atletico sent Felix on loan to Chelsea in January after he fell out with Diego Simeone, and they are reportedly hoping the Blues decide to sign him permanently in the summer. Felix is worth around £120 million, which is £15 million more than the fee Chelsea paid for Enzo Fernandez. According to Mundo Deportivo, Atletico Madrid hope Joao Felix has a few dream months at Chelsea to convince the club to spend big on him. Joao Felix has no desire to play for the club again, and they are hoping to cash in on him now. Felix has a broken relationship with Diego Simeone, who despite reports is expected to stay at the club. There is no option to buy in the loan contract for Felix at Chelsea, but if the club are happy with him and decide to push to buy, it's likely something Atleti will be happy to discuss. Felix is one of the January signings Chelsea are most excited about, and after serving a 3-game ban he is eligible to play in their next game. Both clubs will be hoping he hits the ground running, but the price tag may have to come down if Chelsea are to consider making his loan move a permanent one. N'Golo Kante's future at Chelsea still undecided. N'Golo Kante's future at Chelsea is yet to be decided, and there are still chances he can leave the club in the summer. N'Golo Kante's future at Chelsea is still undecided, and despite the recent positive talks between both parties, there are still chances that the French midfielder can leave the club for free in the summer. Kante's current contract runs out in June, and the club and his representatives are currently in talks to try and come to an agreement over a new deal. Nothing has been agreed yet, but there is a slight expectation Kante could stay. According to Fabrizio Romano, N'Golo Kante's future at Chelsea is yet to be decided. Speaking on the situation surrounding Kante at Chelsea, Romano had this to say: N'Golo Kante chances to stay are currently 50-50 or 60-40 in favour of Chelsea. There is currently no guarantee Kante will stay, but the feeling is in the end that he will come to an agreement with Chelsea over a new deal. Kante has a desire to stay in London and is happy to renew his deal. Chelsea feel the same way and want to keep the player around the club. There are still chances Kante can leave if an agreement is not reached on the deal, but that is not something that is being considered at the moment. Chelsea need experience around the club for the next stage of the rebuild, and Kante is one of the most experienced players you could possibly have around a dressing room. Chelsea tried to sign Sofyan Amrabat in January. Chelsea attempted to sign Fiorentina midfielder Sofyan Amrabat in the January transfer window. Chelsea looked at a lot of midfielders on deadline day in the event their deal for Enzo Fernandez did not come through, and Fiorentina midfielder Sofyan Amrabat was one of those players. Amrabat was fresh off a magnificent World Cup campaign for Morocco, and Chelsea felt he was one of the players that could add something to their midfield. The Blues explored a deal, but Fiorentina were extremely reluctant to allow the player to leave. According to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea explored the possible chances of signing Sofyan Amrabat on loan in January, but it was not something Fiorentina were ever open to doing. Amrabat's stock has risen since the World Cup, and he is now one of the most sought-after midfielders in the world. Liverpool have interest, but Chelsea were open to trying to make a deal happen in January. In the end, it worked out for Chelsea as they completed the signing of Enzo Fernandez and didn't need to go back into the market for another midfielder, but Amrabat could still be a target for the summer. Chelsea are expected to sign a midfielder in the summer, and Fiorentina are more likely to be willing to part ways with the Moroccan midfielder in the summer. A price tag of around £35 million is expected to be the fee Chelsea could sign him for, which is a stark contrast to the £100 million fee being quoted for Declan Rice. Chelsea new signing Christopher Nkunku back in RB Leipzig training. Christopher Nkunku has finally returned to training for RB Leipzig after time out with an injury since November. Christopher Nkunku will not play for Chelsea until at least June or July, but he is a Chelsea player. The deal is done and everything is signed. Nkunku will join when the Bundesliga season is over. The French forward has been out injured since picking up an injury in training with France before the World Cup. The injury kept him out of the tournament, and he has finally returned to first-team training. It's a boost for Chelsea, who will be hoping to get a fully fit Nkunku when he joins. As reported by Eurofoot, Christopher Nkunku is back in RB Leipzig training and ready for selection again. Despite being out injured since October, Nkunku is still the second highest scorer in the league behind Niklas Füllkrug with 12 goals. Nkunku has the highest goals per game ratio in the entire league this season. Chelsea completed a deal for Nkunku in December, but the agreement with Leipzig meant that he would not join Chelsea until July. Nkunku will be part of the major rebuild taking place at Chelsea, and he is one of the biggest signings so far. There has been a discourse about where Nkunku will play for Chelsea, and the French forward recently suggested he could play in the attacking midfield role when he does join the club. A striker is still expected to come into Chelsea in the summer, and Dusan Vlahovic has been named as one of the targets alongside Ivan Toney that the club could go for.